This week, we take a look at the winners of the Golden Geek Awards, plus some announcements from Greater Than Games.
And our topic of the week, Exploding Kittens. What's the deal behind this crazy Kickstarter that just keeps breaking records? I'm Will Keeler.
I'm Jonathan Estes, and this is the Roll for Crit podcast. Two board game companies have announced that they are merging into one entity, Greater Than Games, the people behind Sentinels of the Multiverse, and Dice Hate Me Games, who have done a lot of games through Kickstarter, such as Compounded, Viva Java, and others. They are now going to be one thing, as they announced just this past week. What's nice about this is that all of the people involved are remaining in their current positions. All their current games are still slated for the release dates that they were slated for. It seems like this is really an amicable and not going to affect anything type of arrangement, which is good, which is nice for a merger. Sometimes they can be messy, and also nice because as we looked when we saw it, Asmodee is not involved.
Yes, that was actually one of my two questions. One, is their new name Asmodee? And two, actually, I think that combined the first two, because the first one was Asmodee's not involved. Two, what's their new name going to be?
As far as I know, they're just going to be things are still going to be going out under the Dice Hate Me line or under like the Sentinel Universe line. I don't believe there is any new combined name. They're just going to be working together.
That's really good because Sentinels is actually relatively big.
Oh yeah.
Compared to other, but the Dice one, like you said, is all Kickstarter. I mean, it's a little small compared to others, and it's nice because probably both of them would then be able to help sort of, they both increase each other. And I know I actually failed to back one of their Kickstarters, Lady of the Ball.
Bell of the Ball?
Bell of the Ball. It's my mistake.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
all
it's
right.
one or the other. I'm mixing. I'm confused now. But it looked like a lot of fun. It was sort of just trying to get the intention of you're the fanciest person in the ball, and it looked like a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, I mean, even Greater Than Games, even though Sentinels is pretty big, they're in terms of board game publishers, they're more on the smaller independent.
Yeah,
side.
no, they're on the independent, but Sentinels is a relatively large game. That's why.
But it's cool to see.
No,
rather than a giant swallowing someone else, two guys helping each other out.
Well, what's also nice is the people who work on Sentinels might be able to we can now have the time maybe. Or work with someone else to do something that's not Sentinels. We don't have to be we have to get Sentinels out. Not that that's bad.
Not that they won't do that. But yeah, it's kind of.
But speaking of getting Sentinels out,
get some Sentinels
a while
out.
ago we announced they have the Villains of the Multiverse expansion coming out, which is, as you've seen with every other superhero game coming out, a version where you get to play as the villains. They've recently released backstories on some of the villains you can play. I believe it was Hammer Anvil, who you may recognize from the Sun. I forget her group. She was like the Sun People from the original set.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're gonna everyone tells me wrong.
There's a lot of lore involved.
Like Bear Bug, I think it was
Bugbear.
Bugbear. I mixed it. I mixed it up because of Dungeons and Dragons. Remember we had to fight one.
Well, it was a bugbear.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bugbear.
But there was one other guy I can't remember. But he's from the newest set I know. But
there were
Greaser
a couple
or
from the the packs we've seen, like Misinformation.
Right, that was one too.
Was one.
But really, so far we haven't actually seen what they do. But it's more just backstory, which is interesting because I think it's a cool idea for them to do this because this is based on comic book heroes and stuff like that. And seeing the backstory is it sort of connects you more. It's not just this is a playable character. It's just this is the hero. I know why villain in this case, why they became this way, why they act. I mean, it's part of the reasons why we like heroes. When we play DC or Legendary, I'm playing Spider-Man. This isn't just Spider-Man. I'm Peter Parker who did this, or I'm Batman. And I'm going. Giving them some connection with heroes, I think, is the perfect.
It is interesting because I see Greater Than Games do a lot. Anytime they do a preview of a new hero or villain, they always introduce them with a backstory like that. It seems. Rather than the cards themselves. And yeah, you're right. It totally fits because Sentinels is it's pretty thematic. You really, because it's all about putting you in those shoes.
If you look at your life counter It is a comic book cover. Your life is the issue number,
right?
And all the cards literally say like, "This is gonna sting from from the Sentinels of Ultimate Universe fight issue number 6,"
right?
Which I think is really like they do put a lot of work into.
Oh yeah, and I think they were at one point they were going to put out comics. I don't know if they still are going to or not.
Well, what I would hope that really happens from this though is when we actually go to a board game convention, we actually see people cosplaying as these people more. Instead of just seeing the generic, anime characters.
There must have been some.
No, I'm sure there's some, but I mean, I want it to be the common. Like, you know how if you go to an anime convention, you'll see a Naruto. If you go to, like, a New York Comic Con, you're going to see Spider-Man or Batman.
Stormtroopers.
Or Stormtrooper. Yeah, how can I forget Stormtrooper? But I want, like, go to board game convention, you see Sentinels. You're like, that should be like, oh.
From X-Men.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, we're excited. It looks like fun.
Yeah. So, as soon as we hear more, we'll let you know more. But if you're into the game, definitely check out to read these backstories.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch, and they talk about the environments as well.
Right.
But we have our big story for the day. That was the appetizer to the meal, which is we talked about recently the nominees for Board Game Geek's Golden Geek Awards.
You mean the Black and Blue Awards?
The Black and Blue Geek Awards. Oh, that reference will become dated quickly. Anyway, moving on. Well, the winners were finally announced. They were voted on. We know who won. We're going to talk about it right now. I'm not going to go through the entire list, but there are some big names. So the big overall winner, best game of the year tabletop game, was Splendor.
Wait, it wasn't Moose in the House?
It was not a moose.
It was wrong.
Next year, we're always pulling for Moose in the House.
Moose in the House
as a write-in.
Yeah,
but it was Splendor, which also won the Spiel des Jahres. So I guess predictable in a way. Mm-hmm. Or no, Camelot won.
Camelot won. Yeah, I was like,
right.
Wait.
Oh, so I guess this is Splendor's revenge, actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, it also won Best Family Game. Some other awards, we got Star Realms Best 2-Player Game and Best Card Game.
Interesting. Best 2-player.
Yeah, Best 2-Player. Well, I think most people experience it that way.
That's true. Though I know, like, if you don't know, you can buy multiple sets to make multiple people. We haven't tried that yet.
Well, for example, Imperial Settlers was also a runner-up for Best 2-Player, even though you can play with more.
That's interesting. I wonder do people feel it's better 2-player? Like, I don't know about either of those.
Yeah,
we have done Imperial Settlers multi and 2-player.
Yeah.
I think I enjoyed Imperial Settlers better multi.
Yeah, so as did I. However, what Imperial Settlers did win was Best Solo Game. So the number of players is all over the board with these things.
You know, that's it. I'm done.
Who knows? Forget what you're supposed to say in the box. We also got Best Thematic Game, Dead of Winter, as well as most innovative game was Dead of Winter.
No, I
think
agree
that's
with
fair
that.
because
I find,
Crossroads.
The Crossroad mechanic I think is one of the coolest things around, and the game provides a zombie game where it wasn't just we need to go Resident Evil and kill all the zombies.
Yeah.
Like I felt like zombies were not even like the main thing or therefore they're sort of like just background noise.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things that,
and I like that a lot because I feel like when you watch a zombie movie,
and
like the human reaction, like how the humans interact with the other survivors, I feel like is much more interesting.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I definitely think and I can't wait for them to do other Crossroad games.
And hopefully it'll be sometime in the near future.
Let's hopefully also be distributed better than Dead of Winter.
Well, that may not be able to be helped. Abyss won for Best Art, which is another one that we've talked about that we think has amazing art. There were also the role-playing awards, which pretty much all went to D&D 5th edition stuff.
Once again, not very surprising.
And finally, there were the best podcasts, which we weren't nominated for.
Because it'd be unfair. They wanted to let someone else win.
Right. I mean, we won every year prior. Don't look that up. But they did go... One that I haven't listened to all... I mean, Dice Tower, I'm pretty sure, won best podcast. But there's also Board with Life does a great D&D one where they play the D&D campaign from 5th edition. There's some cool stuff, but overall, I mean, I don't think there was anything I strongly disagreed with. I probably wouldn't put Splendor as as you would know, because if you watched our wrap-up video podcast, we said what our favorite games were of the year, and neither of us said Splendor. But
also because I feel I didn't play it enough.
True.
And also I
played it enough.
I played it the one time I played it. I definitely felt very bad luck for me. Just because every time I wanted something, someone would build right.
You don't like a game unless you dominate at it.
No, it's not dominating. It's just I don't want to judge it by that one game.
Okay.
Like I definitely feel like it wasn't a game wasn't bad. I just did not like it. Just happened to be. I think it can do a lot better. And playing with those chips though is just so much fun.
That's true. That's really most of what it has going for it. But it's also so. Those are the awards. Whether you agree or disagree, they're up there. Either way, I think they weren't surprising. There was nothing really.
That usually I guess when you
see
people
vote.
Yeah.
The thing is, people are voting, so these are people who haven't played every game, and usually the things that are the most popular, or things most people bought, so that's what gets voted on,
right?
Because they haven't played everything else. But that's a whole.
That's nothing to put down these games. Like we said, we just went on a tangent with Crossroads. So these games have usually earned the
It's
title.
a good place to look if you're looking for what to play that's hot from last year.
Yep.
That is our segment on the news. We are now going to talk about our Kickstarter Pickstarters.
I chose the Kickstarter Dragoon for this week. This Kickstarter is basically you play a dragon, and villagers and other humans are invading your area, and you don't like that.
Never do.
No, you do not. So you gotta drive them out and gather the treasure, to build your dragon horde. However, of course, there are other dragons who are competing with you over the area. What I really like about this game, though, what really stands out compared to other ones, is the artwork. It first of all, it comes with a cloth board, which
I love that.
Yes. If you continue watching this or seen before, usually something comes with a cloth or kind of board.
Well, what's so cool is it looks like a Tolkien map, like from the book.
Well, not only that, the artwork is very it's. I don't know how to say it. It's very modern, I guess. I don't know. The art style is very different. It's not just like an actual drawing of a dragon.
Right. If we had like an art historian here.
It wasn't like something you'd find in. Oh yeah, if an art historian. But I mean, it's not like it's something you'd find in the pages of a D&D manual.
Yeah.
Like it's really unique, and because of that, they're really capitalizing on it. The game itself is $45, but there's so many other pledges. I think they have like shirts and stuff, and like all this with the artwork, and it's really tempting. I mean, I want the game itself, but I'm looking at the other stuff. I'm like, that does look really nice. And the pieces. I know the drawing pieces themselves that are metal too, so they're putting component-wise, this is really showing off a map. It sounds really fun. I can't resist anything with dragons, and it looks something unique, and I'm really excited to see more from it.
Yeah, I liked it too. It looks cool. Dragoon, you could play it with Lagoon. You could have a back-to-back night.
You just want to do a rhyming night, Dr. Seuss night?
Yeah, only games that rhyme with each other. Anyway.
You play Lagoon on the Moon.
My pick this week is a fairly big one. It's Thunderbirds, which we've actually known about for a little while, that they were going to be making it. It's finally launched. It is from the same designer as Pandemic. Big deal, Matt Leacock. So and in the same vein, it is a 2 to 4 player cooperative game where you are playing as the Thunderbirds team from the classic British puppet show that none of us watched.
When did it actually air?
80s or 70s? 80s.
All right.
So we checked with our producers. They confirmed 80s. So trust us. It's a show I haven't watched. I know you haven't watched. I don't know. Obviously, it's a British show.
It seems the basic premise is it's almost Power Ranger-y. It's a secret group of people. Each have their own ship.
But less monsters and
no, like
secret
not the
agent
yes.
stuff.
It's more like 007. But with Rangers, they have a team, their own ships.
Right.
And then there's this guy who looks like you, who's the villain destroying everything.
I'll take it. The Hood?
Yes, that's his name, the Hood.
Well,
so from what I can tell, you play as the team going around stopping all his stuff, which, if you think about it, sounds just like Pandemic. It's perfect.
It is the board, it kind of looks like it's a map of the world. Mm-hmm. What's really cool, though, I think, is you're actually in your ships. Yeah, and you can fly around and get in and out of them and unload and transport stuff to places.
Well, it also looks like, at least from our scene with the card artwork, they actually really focus on taking the stuff from the show and using it. It's not just, we're just redrawing everything and stuff. Yeah, so that's really, I think, really impressive.
Yeah, it looks cool. So I'm sure if people are fans of the game. I mean, it's cool just that people who are fans of the show are actually going to get a great game out of it from a respected designer, as opposed to, you know, it's a lot of these old shows that people like that they're like, oh, make a great board game, you never get to see it.
Well, I'm like you said, neither of us watched it. I'm really curious now. I'm even curious to watch the show now, just from seeing this.
I don't know if it would hold up for as an adult.
I don't know, but you know, I watch Power Rangers. I have a low bar.
My bar is like only like an inch higher, so it might be in between there. But yeah, it looks cool. It looks, I'm sure, from designer Pandemic, it'll be a solid. You can read the rules. They have a very rough layout of the rules online. The game itself goes for £40.
No, we know that's how much it weighs. How much does it go for?
£40. Do your own conversions on Google, because I can't do it. And it looks good, and I think that's all we have to say.
All right. Well, until they make a DuckTales game for you, since they're already rebooting the show.
It'll come. So they got Ghostbusters, Thunderbirds, DuckTales is next.
But for now, I think it's time we moved on to our topic of the week. So, if you haven't heard, which would be sort of surprising, there was a Kickstarter a while back. It ended pretty recently, called Exploding Kittens. The game actually comes from the artist Oatmeal Comics, who's very popular. And the game itself is pretty much you just go around drawing cards, and if you get an exploding kitten, you're out of the game. Unless, of course, you can confuse it with things like catnip, laser pointer, so on and so forth.
Naturally.
And this Kickstarter broke a lot of records.
Sounds like, oh, nice, unsuspecting little game. Made quite a bit of money.
Yeah, so over $5 million, I believe, if I recall correctly. And it was quite impressive. I remember I backed it early on. This is like, I think it just reached or was really close to its goal. And I was thinking like, oh, I like Oatmeal Comics. I'll back it. And then, I check in. I'm like, they have $1 million.
Now, of course, this game has gotten there's been a lot of articles and discussion about it because of how many records it's broken and how weirdly huge it's been. But now we're going to weigh in on, give you the roll for crit seal of approval.
And before we begin, we should say the reason we didn't mention this in our Kickstarter Pickstarter is because we didn't think we need to.
Yeah, it goes without saying. But also, just recently, the reason that kind of sparked our idea to talk about it this week is there was an article on Polygon about the money behind it and basically laying out the fact that everybody thinks that the guys behind this are now millionaires and super rich.
No.
Wow, real adamant about that.
Wow, no, it's just.
But if you look at the money and where it's going and how much the process of manufacturing and add-ons is, they're not like going to be super rich or anything from this.
Yeah, no. I actually seen this before in some other Kickstarter. Sometimes some people actually hate it when they make too much money, because what happens is then they have to increase their costs. They made deals to be like, okay, how much to make this?
It can be another whole other challenge in itself.
So getting a lot of money actually can be really bad.
And then another site, we'll link to it, the Geek Dynasty did an interesting follow-up, I thought, on that, where they really delved into the numbers behind it. And it's interesting to trying to figure out exactly where all the money is going.
Well, yeah, another big issue, which really did happen to this one more than anything, is because it grew so fast. Most Kickstarters do like, okay, if we get a little bit more, we'll do this stretch goal for you, which means they have to throw more money into making it. They got so much money right off the bat, it was hard for them to even do that for Kickstarters. So now, they're adding extra cards, made a really nice box, something really secret.
Yeah, supposedly there's a secret thing that's going to go in every package.
What's interesting is because then you have to think about, they did their estimates with the smaller box and all that.
Right.
Now they have to think, okay, how much now that we've increased everything?
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I love the way they did their stretch goals. Since they already did much, what they did is instead of money goals, because they already hit like 3 million by the time they could think of stretch goals, was they actually had achievements. So if you locked certain achievements, they'd add something new. Like they had one thing that was get a picture of 10 people dressed up as Batman in a hot tub, and 6 Spider-Man in a canoe. And all these weird achievements, and people did them.
Yeah, so I guess what we need to talk about today is, was it worth doing those things? What is? I guess I don't know. What is the fact that this, of all the games on Kickstarter, became the #1 biggest ridiculous moneymaker that everyone wants? What does that say about consumers of board games, or does it say nothing at all and everyone's reading too much into it?
Well, while this has been a discussion, I know you and I have discussed in great detail against and argued about. I think the two things it does bring up is one, if something's a property, like oatmeal in this case, people will buy
oatmeal, not like cereal.
No, this is it comes with just regular.
Just to clarify, it is the name of the comic.
People will buy it up. Two, the pricing. So it is relative compared to the reason I bring this up is because Ghostbusters, which also came out, is big, but that game was 3 times the price of this.
But I mean, compared to Ghostbusters, yeah, but it's not as if this was $5. It was like 20, wasn't it?
No, that's correct. But I'm still saying it's not $100.
Well, yeah.
It has.
But
I
guess
don't know.
Access I feel like to me, $20 is a pretty standard amount. To me, that's not the reason why.
No, you're right. No,
honestly, I don't know why.
No, I'm just comparing it to other big titles that were currently around, like around this time period.
Mm-hmm.
No, it definitely. I'm shocked. I'm still shocked that I didn't know whether oatmeal is that popular.
I had no idea.
Another thing I know you have brought up as a big point is people seem to still need basic, like very simplistic games. And it just, I think like yes, that's probably part of the reason, but I still think no one bought it or looking at 2 games like, oh, this is the really simple. I'll buy this. Oh God, that has miniatures and stuff. I'm gonna avoid.
Well, let me be clear.
Let me be clear.
I think overall it's a positive thing. There's nothing wrong. It's Kickstarter. People want it. They buy it. That's great. It's great that more people who probably have not played a lot of games will buy this and play it, and maybe go on to purchase more games, and we grow the hobby. That's a great thing.
Join us.
It definitely is. There's not a lot to it, and just personally, I feel like it's a style of humor that's very kind of like memes, internet, funny cats.
No, I definitely agree with you.
It's not my cup of tea, and I feel like I'm fine with it. It's more the fact that it's so successful. I'll be honest, it makes me mad.
Yes, and this is where, because I have no problem with it. Usually I have a problem with understanding, like, what's the game? The meme game? There's a
meme run on the Wii U.
Right.
That's just dumb.
But I don't feel like it's not literally taking the actual memes.
No.
Which I think it's still mostly his stuff.
Sure, it's all original stuff. It's just that it's that same brand of humor.
Yes, and I don't feel like
it was made for the internet, the 15 to 22 Reddit crowd.
22 is the limit. Once you get 23, also you're like, cats are stupid.
That's what happened with me. 23, I was like, oh, what is this meme? Get out of here. And then I went on with my life. I started Roll for Crit. That's going to be my biopic. Go on. Rebut me.
I do feel it doesn't play, because a lot of it plays on the comic more. And he does pull from it. You're right, because the cat. First of all, you can't avoid it. It doesn't even matter if you don't want to. If you put cat on anything, people are gonna be like, "Oh, it's cats."
And I do think the art is good. I think he's a talented artist.
Oh, I love it, and I think it's hilarious. Most of his artwork's hilarious, and
some of it I like.
I think what's interesting though is because you did the 15 to 22, like usually the younger Reddit, but there is a not safe for work deck version in there, so that would imply to the older.
Yeah, sure.
I do think one of the big problems you have with this comes from Cards Against Humanity.
Well, that's
a lot of usually happens when Cards Against Humanity. It seems to be a game when you're usually not with our core, group of board game players. Always, that's what everyone wants to play, and it just turns into be not even like an actual game, just people just saying things.
I do think you're right. Since Cards Against Humanity's success, there's been a lot of games,
and Apples to Apples. I think both of them should be included.
True, that have tried to capitalize on that market, and I think I definitely am tired of them. And like you said, it's great those games have a place to exist, but. I think there's overkill for me, and at a certain point, it's like, wouldn't it be great if everyone really got behind, I don't know, some dumb Euro game on Kickstarter or something? I don't know, probably not, but just a little semi-wishful thinking. But Yeah, I mean, like I said, I know I'm Mr. Negative, but ultimately it's whatever people want it. I think it'll be a good thing overall for the industry. I'm just, I got.
It's not a matter of yes. It wasn't a matter that it was successful. It was a matter that it was unbelievably successful.
I still really don't like. I understand. Yeah, people like the oatmeal. I just didn't know feel like that many people.
No,
like
neither did I. I'm still shocked that he got
like,
that.
Where are these people? Where did they come from? You would think like going out down the street, like anybody. Maybe they do. I mean, he's got books. I guess I have one of them. So what am I? I'm just a hypocrite.
You are. No, I don't know why. It just to me it just seems. I just been so happy to see it. I'm shocked, but I'm happy to see it.
Whatever makes you happy.
And I mean, I'm usually the kind of guy who just. I'm not the kind of guy who gets excited when I see just whatever insert meme on like image for it because I just find them boring. But
no, it's certainly a step above that.
No, I know it is, but it's still no. You're right.
It
draws some power from it.
Yeah, some of its life source is drained from that area.
But I do think overall it's a step forward, and hopefully you get more people into games. I am hoping what it does is also because like I said, the achievement style for stretch goals. I think is a very interesting idea. Maybe not even just for Kickstarter, maybe for some other things like. I think who should do it is not the independent game because they've just got to reach their goal. But we're seeing a lot of like Queen games, Cryptozoic, on Kickstarter now. And it's like you guys probably could make this. So instead of just doing money stretch goals, why don't you do something like, for example, some Ghostbusters. Show us 10 pictures of Ghostbusters chasing a ghost or something.
And I'm sure people in the future will look at this Kickstarter as a benchmark of success and take some of those things.
Well, I mean, it holds multiple records. It's hard not to.
At least one. But maybe you are a backer of Exploding Kittens on Kickstarter out there watching or listening to us.
And you would like to yell at Jonathan.
or other way around, either way. We would love to hear from you, your thoughts on the subject, on the amount of money they made, etc., etc. Or if you have another question for the show, a topic you want to suggest for us, our email address is rollforcrit@gmail.com.
Strictly with this hand motion. But of course, you can contact us through Twitter and Instagram, which you should see around our face, which each time I will always gesture.
Or Facebook.
Yes, and Facebook. How could I forget Facebook?
And
there's always going to the source.
Oh, the source. Android Netrunner Data Pack, which is just one of many games available on our website, rollforcrit.com, where you'll also see lots of videos, playback episodes. You can find links to subscribe to our newsletter, which we're going to start doing very soon, hopefully right when this episode is up.
Fingers crossed.
You'll be getting that. And lots of other fun stuff.
And of course, don't forget to just subscribe right here. Just right down there. It's really simple.
Yes.
Just move down there and click it. Easier than backing Exploding Kittens.
It's so much easier. And find all those Golden Geek Award winners for sale on our site, too.
Yeah.
But that otherwise will do it for this episode of the Roll for Crit podcast, which is usually what we say at the end. But I said it just now. My name is Jonathan Estes.
I'm Will Keeler, and this is the Roll for Crit podcast.